I loved being a dad. I loved my wife. It was a beautiful marriage, but it was also just like monotonous. I remember seeing an advertisement, "Life is short, have an affair." I was like, that sounds intriguing.
Ashley Madison was ahead of his time.
The vision was to be the largest and only website for married people who wanted to have an affair.
Yep. That, by the way, is from a Netflix documentary, which is going to premiere on Wednesday on Netflix. And it's all about Ashley Madison. It is called Ashley Madison, Sex, Lies, and Scandal. For those who may remember, Ashley Madison began as an online dating site with a twist, as you heard. The slogan, "Life is short, have an affair." Things were going pretty well for this dating site until. So let's get you caught up on what you're going to find out here. Paul Keable is Chief Strategy Officer at Ashley Madison. He's on the line. Mr. Keable, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks so much for having me on today, Aaron.
Let me begin by asking the question, is Ashley Madison still a viable concern? Is it still online and as a dating site?
Well, we have more than 365,000 people joining monthly right now, and we've had more than 50 million new members join since the events of 2015. So I'd say we're a little bit more than viable.
So when I say, has it changed at all, that's not your slogan anymore, right?
Nope. Life is short, have an affair continues to be our slogan.
Oh, okay. Things I didn't know, which is probably a good thing. All right, so let me talk about the events as they're described in this documentary and what it's all about. So when you refer to what happened back in 2020, what was it?
So you're talking about 2015?
Sorry, 2015, my mistake.
Yeah, obviously, it's a well-publicized event. We faced a significant cybersecurity event that really, was a moment where we let our members down. We didn't deliver on expectations, and to no surprise, it caused a lot of turmoil. And everything we've done since then has been about how do we become a better business partner, how do we become a better provider to our members. And like I mentioned, with the numbers that are coming in on a monthly basis, clearly I think we've addressed a lot of the concerns that came out of that time frame.
All right, so that data breach that you're referring to, basically, and now this is a website that makes no bones about the fact that, if you want to have an affair, come over here, you can find people here to have an affair with, which a lot of people would have looked at and went, that's terrible or disgusting, whichever. But your data breach basically exposed people who had decided to join that site, and the fallout was pretty severe.
Absolutely. Like I said, that was clearly a moment in time, where we let our members down and somebody perpetrated a crime against us, a crime against our members. And it unfortunately was one of many, cybersecurity events that came following ours. But obviously, because of the nature of our business and who we are, ours gets, talked about a little bit more and publicized a lot more.
And as a result, I'm guessing in this new documentary, we're going to hear some stories, as we did just at the beginning, from people who this data breach basically exposed, which ended relationships, I guess, and a whole lot more.
Well, I think what you're likely to see, we're not involved with the documentary. They wanted to reflect on an event that happened, about 9 and a bit years ago, and they want retell the story. So there's nothing really new. So if you were aware of us and were paying attention during that time frame, I don't see anything new in it, but these platforms have to produce content. But I think what's more, important or interesting from my standpoint is, why would you tell a story that's 9 years old? And I think it's because our brand and our business continue to be relevant and people are vastly interested in it.
Okay, I understand what you're trying to say. I imagine the real juicy stuff here will be, in fact, stories of people who had gone on Ashley Madison, decided to sign up in strict confidentiality, right? Because obviously you don't want your partner to know that this is what you're doing. And then the whole thing blows up. They're exposed. I know that marriages ended because of this. So how are things different now? Obviously, security's been stepped up, but there are also that many more dating sites online than there were perhaps 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the proliferation of dating apps is massive. But what's interesting is that no one really stepped into the void or the perceived void that occurred when, we had our downfall. And it really showed to us that we still had a reason to be in that space. Because what was really underreported, if not reported at all during that time frame, is our membership was increasing dramatically during that time frame. So on an average pre-2015, we were about 30,000 new members. And during that time frame, we had well over 100,000 people joining every day. Now, you might just say that's people taking a look, not really interested in the service, trying to see if it's real or not. Our revenues were growing as well. And it really told me, because I was there at the time, that this clearly is a business that delivers a need. And what we needed to do, as you reflected, is we had to go back and rebuild a few things, primarily the trust lost with our membership. And that starts with addressing how do we approach security, how we approach, speaking to our members. And we overhauled all of that and spent a lot of time repairing that. And I think at this point, we are very proud of our ability to stand up and get number one data.
Okay, we're losing you on the phone. I don't know if you're moving in there or whatever. If you could just kind of move to a different part of where you are right now, where you're having dropping off on the phone.
My apologies.
No, don't apologize. It's not your fault. Okay, can you hear us now?
I got you, no problem.
Great. So let me kind of shift forward if I can here. You're saying this company, despite this issue back in 2015, continues to grow. Do you not have anyone, there's so many, as I said, different websites. Do you not have any direct competition?
Well, there's lots of dating apps that did pop up that tried to mimic us or take market share away from us, but they failed to really capture the attention of people because I don't think people saw them necessarily as legitimate. Our true competition, more than anything else, is the office space, because over time, that's where more affairs have occurred than any other place. And that said, what we do find interesting is we've seen reports at places like Tinder, which are not really designed for this type of activity. Up to 30% of their membership is married people pretending to be single. So in essence, we're trying to, tell people if you're going to do it in the right place with people who are also looking for the same thing.
Okay. I'm curious. So, some people, I'm sure this is not news to you, will look at a site like this and go, this is immoral that you have, people online just basically saying, I'm ready to have an affair. And of course, the other person they're involved with has no idea this is going on. What do you generally say to people like that?
Well, this is why we exist. Our community of daters, which is interesting, is probably the most honest group of online daters compared to any other app, which you're going to obviously guffaw at a little bit. But it's why they're there reflects on how they communicate with other members. When you're on Match or eHarmony, you're likely looking for a potential life partner. So you're going to present the best version of yourself, even a little bit of a glamorized version of who you really are. Whereas when you come to Ashley Madison, you're looking for something very specific, something that's missing from your life. And so you're very honest with the people you're communicating with. This is who I am. This is the specific thing I'm looking for. And if you're unable to meet that or that is not of interest to you, then you're not going to be a good partner necessarily. And we have so many members that come through, the likelihood of finding someone increases if you spend a little time communicating within your community.
Yeah, I love that you said that. When you stop and think about it, I guess that's probably true, right? You're not glamorizing anything. You're simply saying, look, I'm in a relationship. I'd like to have an affair. And if the person on the other end is saying the same thing, boom, you have a match.
Exactly.
Okay, I get that part. I wonder, though, as well, given what happened back then, and yes, obviously you've increased your security right now. Hopefully that's not an issue, but we hear every day about companies being hacked. What happens if that were to happen again to Ashley Madison?
We look at security through a really different filter these days. It's more of a Sisyphean task, and if you understand my meaning there. Every day we've got to push that boulder back up the hill. So it's not a check box where we're taking care of security. We don't have to worry about that. First and foremost, it's part of every person's responsibility within the company. Yes, we have a security team and a chief information security officer, but what they do as a team is ensure that everyone at the organization is thinking about security and discretion and privacy first and foremost. So every product we build, it has privacy at the core of it, discretion at the core of it, because that's the absolute baseline of what we offer our members is discretion. So everything we do is within that framework, and we're constantly testing our system, constantly measuring to ensure that it's meeting today's standards and tomorrow's standards as well. So it's a task that will never be done because new challenges come about every day, but I'm really proud of the work that the team has done and the ability to sort of manage a very
Okay, once again, we're losing you on the phone. All right, listen, Mr. Keable, I thank you so much for your time. Can you hear me still?
I hear you just fine, Aaron.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
keep
sure what's
losing
going
you.
on.
I don't know why either. Where did Ashley Madison get started? I'd read it was started in Toronto. Is that correct?
Born and raised in Toronto 20 plus years ago.
Wow, go figure. And now you said how many members?
So we've just surpassed 85 million member mark since we were launched back then.
Okay. It's going to be an interesting film to watch. I thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Me too. Thanks a lot, Aaron.
Take care. Paul Keable, Chief Strategy Officer at Ashley Madison. So he tried to play down the security breach, and I understand that this is a company that would obviously like to forget that happened back in 2015. But my understanding is the documentary basically will expose the lives that were shattered as a result of what happened in 2015. Looking forward to seeing that. It's on Wednesday night on Netflix.